Welcome to the Aquatic Cryptid Iceberg, where we dive deep into the mysteries of the world's waters, covering the most intriguing and elusive creatures ever reported, from the eerie depths of Ogo Pogo to the legendary serpent Yakumama of the Amazon. Join us as we explore these captivating tales of sea serpents, lake monsters, and other aquatic anomalies that lurk beneath the surface. Tier 1. Ogo Pogo. Ogo Pogo is a legendary cryptid said to inhabit Okanagan Lake in British Columbia, Canada. The origins of Ogo Pogo can be traced back to the indigenous Silex people, who referred to the creature as Nha-Atik, meaning spirit of the lake. According to their folklore, Nha-Atik was a mother demon demanding life sacrifices from those wishing to cross the lake. Early European settlers adapted this legend, giving birth to the modern myth of Ogo Pogo. Often described as a serpentine creature with a length of up to 50 feet. Sightings of Ogo Pogo have been reported since the 19th century, with one of the earliest documented accounts dating back to 1872. A man named Susan Allison claimed to have seen the creature, describing it as a long, snake-like animal. Over the years, numerous sightings have occurred, particularly in the 1920s, when a string of encounters brought Ogo Pogo into the public eye. Witnesses often describe a multi-humped beast that moves with undulating motions, surfacing briefly before disappearing into the depths. One notable encounter occurred in 1968 when Art Folden filmed what he believed to be Ogo Pogo near a beach in Okanagan Lake. Folden's footage showed a dark, large object moving through the water, creating significant waves. Although some skeptics argue it could be a floating log or a group of otters swimming in a line, others maintain it as compelling evidence of Ogo Pogo's existence. Another significant sighting happened in 1989 when Kel Chaplin captured video footage of an object resembling Ogo Pogo, which gained attention from local media and cryptozoologists. Ogo Pogo continues to be a popular subject of intrigue and tourism, drawing visitors to Okanagan Lake in hopes of catching a glimpse of the elusive creature. Champ. Champ, the famed cryptid of Lake Champlain, has intrigued people for centuries, with his mysterious presence in the waters straddling the border of Vermont, New York, and Quebec. The origins of Champ's legend can be traced back to Native American folklore, specifically the Iroquois, who spoke of a giant serpent-like creature inhabiting the lake. These stories were adopted and modified by European settlers, who further popularized the idea of a lake monster. One of the earliest recorded sightings of Champ date back to 1819, when a Captain Crumb reported seeing a black monster that he estimated to be 187 feet long, with the head resembling a seahorse. This sighting sparked interest and led to numerous other reports over the years. In 1873, the New York Times published accounts from railroad workers who have claimed to have seen a gigantic snake-like creature in the lake, reinforcing the growing legend of Champ. Perhaps the most famous piece of evidence supporting the existence of Champ is the photograph taken by Sandra Mancy in 1977. This photo, which shows what appears to be a creature's head and neck emerging from the water, has been widely circulated and analyzed. While some skeptics suggest it could be a log or a wave, others believe it is the best visual proof of Champ. The photograph was taken near the Vermont shore of Lake Champlain and continues to be a focal point of debate and fascination. Throughout the 20th and 21st centuries, sightings continue to be reported. In 1981, a Japanese film crew purportedly captured footage of a large creature in the lake. Although this footage remains inconclusive, various expeditions including sonar searches and underwater explorations have been conducted, but none have provided definitive evidence of Champ's existence. Despite this, the legend thrives, supported by numerous eyewitnesses' accounts describing a large serpentine creature with humps moving through the water. In addition to visual sightings, there have been reports of strange noises emanating from the lake, often described as eerie or otherworldly. These sounds have been recorded and analyzed, with some suggesting they could be made by a large, unidentified animal. The ongoing interest in Champ has also led to the establishment of protective laws in Vermont, making it illegal to harm the creature, should it exist. Champ's legend is celebrated annually with events and festivals, drawing tourists and cryptozoologists to the region. Skelki. The legend of the Skelki, a mythical creature from Scottish and Irish folklore, is both enchanting and mysterious. Skelkies are believed to be shape-shifting beings that live as seals in the sea, but can transform into human form on land by shedding their real skins. The origin of the Skelki legend is deeply rooted in the coastal communities of Scotland and Ireland, where seals were a common sight and their human-like eyes likely inspired tales of transformation. According to folklore, Skelkies often come ashore, especially under the full moon, to dance and bask on the beaches. These transformations are temporary, as they must return to the sea to regain their seal form. The story of Skelkies usually revolves around themes of love, loss, and the sea's inexorable pull. One popular tale tells of a fisherman who finds a Skelki discarded skin and hides it, forcing the Skelki to stay in human form and marry him. Though the Skelki might live with the fisherman and bear his children, she always longs to return to the sea. The story often ends with the Skelki finding her hidden skin and returning to the ocean, leaving her human family behind. In some variations, male Skelkies are said to be incredibly handsome and are known to attract human women. These stories sometimes involve the Skelki lovers fathering children with special abilities or physical traits, such as webbed fingers or an affinity for the sea. These children are believed to be a testament to the union of the Skelki and the human. Interestingly, there are darker tales where encountering a Skelki brings misfortune. Some stories tell of Skelkies who are vengeful or bring bad luck to those who harmed seals. Despite these variations, the core element of the Skelki myth remains their dual existence, embodying both the allure and danger of the sea. Kappa. Kappa, mystical creatures from Japanese folklore, are water-dwelling entities known for their mischievous and sometimes malevolent behavior. The name Kappa means river child, reflecting their association with the water bodies like rivers, lakes, and ponds. Descriptions of Kappa vary, but they are typically depicted as having humanoid forms with webbed hands and feet, beak-like mouth, and a dish-like depression on their heads that hold water. This water is the source of their power, and if it is spilled, they become weakened or immobilized. The origins of Kappa legends are deeply embedded in Japan's cultural history, where these creatures have been both feared and respected. They are often portrayed as tricksters who enjoy playing pranks on humans, such as pulling them into the water or stealing their crops. However, Kappa are also associated with more dangerous activities, including drowning unsuspecting victims and abducting children. Despite their malevolent tendencies, they can be outwitted. One famous story tells of a man who tricked a Kappa into bowing, causing the water in its head to spill and rendering it powerless. Kappa are not always depicted as entirely evil. In some stories, they are knowledgeable about medicine and capable of befriending humans. They are bound by a strict code of honor, which means that if a human can trick or defeat a Kappa in a fair contest, the Kappa must serve that person or repay them in some way. This duality makes Kappa complex figures in Japanese mythology, embodying both the benevolent and malevolent aspects of nature. Encounters with Kappa are a staple in Japanese folklore. There are numerous tales of villagers encountering these creatures while fishing or swimming. One such story involves a Kappa who was caught trying to steal cucumbers, a known favorite food of these beings. The villager captured the Kappa and forced it to swear never to harm the community again, highlighting the belief that Kappa could be reasoned with under certain conditions. Laska. The Laska is a cryptid reputed to inhabit the blue holes and underwater cave systems of the Bahamas, particularly around Andros Island. Descriptions of the Laska vary, but it is often depicted as a monstrous hybrid between an octopus and a shark, sometimes even featuring traits of a dragon. This formidable creature is said to grow in enormous size, with some accounts suggesting lengths of up to 200 feet, making a significant threat to those who dare to explore its domain. The legend of the Laska is deeply rooted in the local folklore of the Bahamas. Blue holes, which are large marine sinkholes, provide a natural and mysterious setting that lends itself well to tales of lurking sea monsters. Fishermen and divers have reported numerous encounters with the Laska over the years. These encounters often involve sudden and violent whirlpools, which are believed to be caused by the creature's massive, tentacled body stirring the waters. The Laska is also said to be highly territorial, attacking boats and divers that venture too close to its lair. One particularly famous sighting occurred in 1973, when a diver exploring a blue hole near Andros Island reported being attacked by a gigantic octopus-like creature. The diver managed to escape, but described the creature as having tentacles over 50 feet long and a body large enough to generate significant underwater turbulence. These kinds of reports have fueled the mystery and fear surrounding the Laska. The scientific community remains skeptical of the Laska's existence, often attributing the sightings and phenomena to natural explanations. The violent whirlpools, for example, could be the result of tidal flows and underwater currents rather than the movements of a giant cryptid. Additionally, the descriptions of the Laska bear a resemblance to the known marine animals such as the giant Pacific octopus or large species of sharks, which could explain some of the encounters. Lake Van Monster. The Lake Van Monster, also known as Van Golu Canavari, is a legendary creature believed to inhabit Lake Van, the largest lake in Turkey. The origins of this myth can be traced back to ancient Armenian folklore, where the creature is referred to as a Vishap or a water dragon. According to legend, the god Van, known as the Reaper of Vishaps, would dive into Lake Van to capture any Vishaps that had grown large enough to pose a threat to the world. The first modern recorded sighting of the Lake Van monster dates back to 1889, where a local fisherman claimed to have seen a large snake-like creature in the lake. This sighting was reported in an Ottoman newspaper, prompting the government to send a scientific survey to investigate, though they found no evidence of the creature. Despite this, sightings continued over the years, with many people claiming to have seen the monster. In the mid-1990s, interest in the Lake Van monster surged when a local man named Unal Kozak claimed to have captured the creature on video. This footage, although heavily criticized for its lack of clarity and consistency, sparked widespread curiosity and debate. Subsequent sightings in the 1990s described the creature as a long-necked, serpent-like animal, drawing comparisons to other famous lake monsters like the Loch Ness Monster. Further adding to the legend, a 4-meter-high statue of the Lake Van monster was erected in the city of Van, cementing its place in local culture and tourism. Despite skepticism and theories suggesting the sightings might be hoaxes aimed at boosting tourism, the legend persists. The creature has been featured in various media, including television shows like Destination Choose and Paranormal Caught on Camera. Bunyip. The bunyip is a mythical creature rooted in Australian Aboriginal folklore, particularly associated with the bodies of water such as swamps, billabongs, creeks, and riverbeds. Descriptions of the bunyip vary widely across different Aboriginal tribes, but common features include a large amphibious body, an elongated neck, and a round head resembling that of an ox, hippopotamus, or manatee. Some accounts also describe the bunyip as having flippers, tusks, and glowing eyes, with the creature emitting a terrifying roar before attacking its prey, typically women and children. The term bunyip originates from the Wemba Wemba or Wirragaya languages of southeastern Australia and means devil or evil spirit. Aboriginal legends describe the bunyip as a malevolent entity that dwells in the water and preys on humans who venture too close. These stories were not only a part of the cultural lore, but also served as cautionary tales to keep people, especially children, away from dangerous water bodies. Early European settlers in Australia incorporated the bunyip into their own folklore, often blending it with European myths. The first written account of the bunyip dates back to 1845, when the Geelong Advertiser published a story about large fossilized bones found near Geelong. Local Aboriginal people identified the bones as belonging to the bunyip, sparking widespread interest and numerous reported sightings. One notable sighting occurred in 1847 when a creature was allegedly spotted in the Barwon River, described as having a neck resembling an emu and a head like a horse. Reports from the 19th century often described the bunyip as a fearsome, smelly creature lurking in murky waters, waiting to devour unsuspecting prey. These accounts contributed to the creature's fearsome reputation, although no physical evidence has ever been found to substantiate these claims. Various theories have been proposed to explain the origins of the bunyip legend. Some research, such as Dr. George Bennett in the 19th century and paleontologists Pat Vickers-Rich and Neil Archibald in the 20th century, suggested that the bunyip might be a cultural memory of extinct Australian megafauna, like the Diprotodon or the giant marsupials Zygomaturus and Nodotherium. Another theory posits that sightings of seals or the booming call of the Australian bittern, a marsh-dwelling bird, may have contributed to the legend. Tier 2. Nahu Elitu. Nahu Elitu is a cryptid said to inhabit the depths of Nahuel Huapi Lake in Argentina's Patagonia region. This lake monster has been described as a large serpentine creature, similar in some ways to the Loch Ness Monster. The legend of Nahulitu has roots in indigenous Mapuche folklore, which spoke of a mysterious creature living in the lake long before European settlers arrived. These stories were further popularized in the early 20th century when various reports and sightings began to surface. One of the earliest recorded encounters was in 1922, when a group of workers near the lake reported seeing a massive creature with a humped back. This sighting led to widespread media coverage and speculation about the existence of a prehistoric creature in the lake. In the following decades, numerous sightings have been reported, often describing a large, dark shape moving swiftly through the water. Some witnesses claim to have seen a creature with a snake-like head and a body that undulates as it swims. In 1960, a photograph allegedly showing Nahuelitu's head and neck above the water stirred further interest and debate. While some experts dismissed the image as a hoax or a case of mistaken identity involving floating debris, others argued it could be a genuine evidence of the creature's existence. More recently, in 1988, a team of researchers claimed to have detected unusual sonar readings in the lake, suggesting the presence of a large, moving object beneath the surface. Despite these intriguing reports, no conclusive evidence has been found to prove Nahulitu's existence. Altamaha. The Altamaha, often affectionately nicknamed LT, is a legendary creature said to inhabit the waters and abandoned rice fields near the mouth of the Altamaha River in southeastern Georgia. The origins of the Altamaha legend date back to the tales of the Lower Muskogee Creek tribe who lived in the region before the British-English colonization. This river monster is described as having a serpentine body, with some accounts suggesting it resembling a giant sturgeon or a cross between an alligator and a porpoise, typically between 20 and 30 feet long. Sightings of Altamaha have been reported for centuries, with increased frequency noted after the arrival of Scottish settlers in the 18th century, who brought with them stories of the Loch Ness Monster. Early European settlers often recounted tales of encountering a large, hissing sea creature in the river. These stories have persisted into modern times, with notable sightings reported near Darien, Georgia. Witnesses commonly describe seeing a creature with a long neck, flippers, and a horizontally flattened tail, moving swiftly through the water. One of the more famous modern encounters occurred in 1981, when two men have claimed to see Altamaha stranded on a mud bank near Cathead Creek. They described it as having a grayish color and being around 20 feet in length. Despite their detailed account, no physical evidence was collected. In 2018, decomposing remains found on a beach in the Wolf Island National Wildlife Refuge stirred speculation that it might be the body of the Altamaha. However, this was later revealed to be a hoax created by performance artist Zardulu using a stuffed shark and a paper mache. The legend of Altamaha has also been supported by various cultural contributions. Paleo artist Rick Spears created a sculpture of Altamaha, which is now displayed at the Darien McIntosh County Visitor Center, further cementing the creature's place in local folklore and tourism. These cultural artifacts and stories contribute to the ongoing fascination with the Altamaha and its place in Georgia's rich tapestry of myths and legends. Scientific explanations for the Altamaha sightings have often pointed to misidentifications of known animals. Some researchers suggest that sightings may be attributed to a large fish such as alligator gar, or even the West Indian manatee, which occasionally migrates into a lower Altamaha River. The river's diverse and largely undistributed ecosystem, with its myriad streams, swamps, and backwaters, provides a perfect setting for such myths to flourish. The Altamaha River itself is one of the largest river systems on the East Coast, draining a significant portion of Georgia and supporting a rich array of wildlife, which adds to the mystique and possibility of unknown creatures lurking in its depths. Iku Turso. Iku Turso is a formidable sea monster from Finnish mythology, often depicted as a malevolent entity associated with war and disease. This creature is known for its terrifying appearance, which varies across different tales. It is frequently described as having multiple heads or tentacles, with some stories portraying it as a giant bearded octopus-like monster. Iku Turso is deeply embedded in mythological texts of Finland, particularly in the Kaleva. The origins of Iku Turso are murky, but he is often considered not just a monstrous beast, but also a deity. In Finnish mythology, He is sometimes invoked in rituals and spells intended to bring down enemies or inflict diseases, showcasing his role as a god of war and pestilence. His fearsome nature made him a subject of terror among ancient Finns, especially seafarers who would chant incantations to ward him off before embarking on voyages. One vivid tale from the Kalevala involves Ikutursu rising from the depths to attack a ship of sailors. As a monstrous form loomed above the water, its tentacles ensnaring the ship, the captain began chanting an ancient spell. The spell invoked both the wrath and vanity of Ikutursu, causing the monster to retreat back into the sea, sparing the ship and its crew. This story highlights not only the creature's terrifying presence, but also the belief in the power of ancient rituals to influence such formidable beings. Ikutursu's abilities are as impressive as they are fearsome. He can command storms and manipulate ocean currents, creating whirlpools to trap and destroy ships. His tentacles, or multiple heads, are potent weapons capable of crushing vessels and dragging sailors to their doom. Some legends even suggest that Ikutursu possesses a hypnotic gaze that can immobilize those who look directly at him. Despite his terrifying attributes, the Ikutursu also embodies a paradoxical relationship with humans. While he is a figure of fear and malevolence, ancient Finns also recognized his power and sometimes sought to harness it through rituals and spells. This duality is a common theme in mythology, where gods and monsters often represent both obstacles and sources of powers. Jiaolong. Jiaolong, also known as Scaled Dragon, in Chinese mythology is a formidable aquatic creature often depicted as a powerful sea dragon. The name Jiaolong can refer to both a specific type of dragon and to a general dragon, and to general dragon-like beings, leading to some ambiguity in historical text. This dragon is a significant figure in Chinese mythology, representing immense power and control over water and weather, often associated with floods and rainfall. Jiaolong is typically described as a serpent-like dragon with iridescent scales that shimmer beneath the water's surface. It is a master of the aquatic domain, capable of summoning storms and controlling water currents, embodying the untamed forces of nature. In many stories, Jiaolong's appearance is accompanied by gathering storm clouds and turbulent seas, making it a fearsome sight to behold. The origins of Jiaolong are deeply rooted in ancient Chinese beliefs about the natural world. In Chinese folklore, Jiaolong is often considered a manifestation of the great cosmic energies that balance the elemental forces of the universe. It is believed to have the power to control the weather, bring rain, and manage the waters, making it a crucial figure in agricultural societies, dependent on predictable rainfall and river flows. One popular tale involving Jiaolong describes a great flood that threatened to engulf the earth. As humanity faced imminent disaster, Chalan emerged from the depths, using its immense power to command the waters to retreat. This story highlights the dragon's dual nature as both a protector and potential source of destruction. The same force that could save humanity from a flood could also unleash catastrophic storms. Jiaolong's abilities are not limited to weather control. It is also known for its strength and dominance over other sea creatures. In some myths, Jiaolong battles other dragons or sea monsters to maintain its supremacy in the ocean. Its ability to command the sea and its creatures makes Jiaolong a symbol of power and majesty in Chinese culture. Despite its fearsome reputation, Jiaolong is also revered and respected. It is also invoked in rituals and prayers for rain, reflecting its role as a bringer of life-sustaining water. The dragon's image is used in various forms of Chinese art and literature, symbolizing strength, good fortune, and protection. Jiaolong's cultural significance extends to modern times, where it is seen as a representation of Chinese technological investments in deep-sea exploration. In 2012, China's first manned deep-sea submersible was named after this mythical sea dragon, emphasizing the connection between the legend and the contemporary achievements in marine science. The submersible, designed to explore the ocean's depths, embodies the spirit of Jiaolong, navigating the mysterious and powerful underwater world. The Bronzo Dragon. The Bronzo Dragon, also known as Brosnia, is a legendary creature said to inhabit Lake Brosno in the Tver region of western Russia. The legend of the Bronzo Dragon dates back to the 13th century, making it one of the oldest lake monster legends in Russia. Descriptions of the creature vary, but it is generally depicted as a dragon-like or serpent-like beast, with some accounts describing it as having wings and the ability to breathe fire. The legend gained significant attention when it was claimed that the Bronzo Dragon attacked the army of Batu Khan, part of the Mongol Empire, as they camped near Lake Brosno. According to the tale, the creature emerged from the lake, causing the horses to panic and the soldiers to flee, effectively thwarting the invasion. This dramatic story has contributed to the dragon's fearsome reputation in Russian folklore. Throughout the centuries, there have been numerous reports and sightings of the Bronzo Dragon. In the 18th and 19th centuries, locals claimed to have seen this creature surface in the evening, only to submerge when approached. During World War II, it was rumored that the dragon swallowed a German airplane whole. More recent sightings, such as those reported in 1997 and 2002, describe a large serpent-like creature with dark, scaly skin seen swimming near the shore of the lake. Scientific investigations have attempted to uncover the truth behind the Bronzo Dragon. In 2002, the Cosmophysics Research Association conducted an expedition using sonar equipment and discovered a large, jelly-like mass near the bottom of the lake. Although initially intriguing, further analysis revealed that the mass was not a living creature. Other explanations for the sightings include natural phenomena such as hydrogen sulfide emissions, which can create disturbances on the water surface, and optical illusions caused by mirages. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the legend of the Bronzo Dragon remains a compelling part of Russian folklore. Akaro Kamui. Akaro Kamui is a mythical creature from Ainu folklore and Japanese mythology, often described as a gigantic octopus or fish-like monster. According to legends, Akaro Kamui can grow up to 120 meters in length. It is said to inhabit Uturu Bay in Hokkaido, Japan, and has also been sighted in areas around Taiwan and Korea since the 19th century. The creature's name can be translated as tentacle-holding Kamui, with Kamui meaning god or spirit in Ainu language. In terms of physical description, Akaro Kamui is depicted with a large octopus-like body with long, powerful tentacles. Some accounts suggest that it has a human-like face and long arms with suckers. Though these details vary and are often unverified, its skin is as dark, possibly black or brown, aiding its camouflage in the ocean depths. The creature's sheer size and form make it an intimidating feature in the waters that it is said to inhabit. Akaro Kamui holds significant cultural importance in Japanese folklore, often depicted in art and literature as a powerful and mysterious sea monster. It is revered for its ability to control tides and weather, reflecting its immense power over the natural world. In traditional Japanese tattoo culture, the octopus symbolizes resilience and the ability to overcome obstacles. Attributes also to the associated symbolizes resilience and the ability to overcome obstacles. The legends about Akaro Kamui are numerous and varied. One tale describes a young woman who was captured by the creature and taken to its underwater lair, only to be transformed into a mermaid before being rescued by a fisherman. Another story tells of a group of fishermen caught in a storm who encountered Akaro Kamui. The creature offered to guide them to safety in exchange for a sacrifice, demonstrating its cunning and respect it commanded from those who believed in it. Throughout history, there have been numerous alleged sightings of Akaro Kamui. Eyewitnesses have claimed to see a giant, red-colored octopus-like creature capable of swallowing boats whole and feeding on other sea monsters, such as whales, as well as smaller sea creatures like fish, crabs, and mollusks. These sightings, though lacking scientific proof, have persisted into modern times, adding to the creature's legend. Akaro Kamui has influenced various forms of popular culture, appearing in literature, art, and media. It has been depicted in paintings, sculptures, and Japanese novels and manga, often emphasizing its formidable size and tentacles. The creature has also been featured in films and television shows, portrayed as a giant monster attacking ships and fishermen, showcasing its enduring presence in the collective imagination. Tier 3. Lake Ilana Monster. The Lake Ilana monster, also known as Ili, is a legendary creature believed to inhabit Alaska's largest freshwater lake, Lake Ilana. The lake, which spans roughly 1,000 square miles and reaches depths of nearly 1,000 feet, provides an ideal setting for the myth of a large, mysterious aquatic creature. The native Tlingit people have long told stories of a creature named Gona Keta, described as resembling a whale, and the Aleutian people speak of Jig Iknak, a beast that reportedly attacks and eats people traveling via water. Modern sightings of the Ilana lake monster began gaining attention in the 1940s. In 1942, Bush pilot Babe Ellisworth and Bill Hammersley reported seeing giant fish 10 feet in length. A few years later, in 1945, survey pilot Larry Brost claimed to see a fish at least 20 feet long swimming in the lake. These descriptions generally depict the creature with a broad head, a long tapered body, and colors ranging from silver to dark brown. Eyewitnesses often report a distinct side-to-side tail motion, particularly around areas like Coconut Bay and Pedro Bay. There have been numerous attempts to capture or identify the creature. In 1959, an article in Sports Afield chronicled over 30 years of reports about huge fish in Lake Ilana. It also detailed Gilpa's attempts to catch the monster, which included several dramatic encounters where the fish supposedly broke heavy-duty fishing equipment. Despite these efforts, no concrete evidence has been produced. Several theories have been proposed to explain the sightings. Some believe the monster could be a white sturgeon, a large fish known to inhabit the Pacific coast and capable of reaching lengths over 20 feet and weights of nearly 1,500 pounds. However, there is no confirmed presence of white sturgeon in Lake Iliamna. Other explanations include oarfish, which can grow up to 56 feet long, although the latter is considered unlikely due to their preference for deep ocean waters. In addition to these fish, the lake hosts the world's largest population of freshwater seals, which some suggest might be mistaken for a lake monster when observed from a distance. The seals' movement in groups can create disturbances on the water's surface that might be interpreted as a single large creature. A notable sighting occurred in June 2017 when numerous residents of Kokonok village witnessed 3 large animals surfacing like whales, but blowing water from the sides of their mouths. These creatures were estimated to be at least 70 feet long and had no visible dorsal fins. Such reports continue to fuel the legend of the Lake Iliamna monster, maintaining its status as a captivating and enduring part of Alaskan folklore. Morag. Morag, a creature inhabiting local Morar in Scotland's West Highlands, is one of the country's most notable lake monsters, second only to the famous Loch Ness monster. The name Morag is derived from the Gaelic word Morag, which is a feminine name in Scottish Gaelic and can also mean great or eminent, hinting at the creature's significant presence in local folklore. Sightings of Morag date back to the 19th century, with the first documented encounter recorded in 1887. Over the years, there have been numerous reports of sightings, totaling at least 34 by 1981. These accounts often describe Morag as a long serpentine creature with a series of humps akin to a plesiosaur. Some witnesses have also reported a dog-like head, adding to the diverse descriptions of the creature. One of the most famous sightings occurred on August 16, 1969, when William Simpson and Duncan MacDonald encountered the creature while returning from a fishing trip. They reported hearing a splash and then seeing a large, black creature rising out of the water, prompting MacDonald to strike it with an oar while Simpson fired a rifle at it. This encounter is well documented and has been recovered extensively in both local and international media. Another notable sighting was reported in 1948 when 9 people claimed to see a 20-foot-long creature swimming alongside their boat. This sighting, like many others, underscores the creature's significant size and mysterious nature. In addition to these modern reports, historical accounts suggest that the legend of Morag may even be older, with some local tales and tradition hinting at a long-standing belief in a loch-dwelling creature. Loch Morar itself is a deep freshwater loch, the deepest in the British Isles, reaching depths of over 1,000 feet. This depth, combined with its remote location, provides an ideal setting for such a legend. The loch's vast and dark waters contribute to the sense of mystery and intrigue surrounding Morag. Whitei. The Whitei is a cryptid from New Zealand folklore, specifically associated with the South Island. Descriptions of this elusive creature resemble a cross between an otter and a beaver, with some accounts suggesting it is about the size of a large cat, weighing around 10 pounds and measuring 1 to 2 feet in length. The Whitei is typically described as having brown fur, sometimes with white patches, a thick beaver-like tail covered in fur, short legs, and webbed feet. Its face is often said to look like a mix between an otter and a cat. Sightings of the Whitei have been reported for over 200 years, with some of the earliest accounts coming from the European explorers and naturalists in the 18th and 19th centuries. Notable figures such as Captain James Cook, who led multiple voyages to New Zealand, reported seeing an unidentified quadruped animal near Dusky Sound in 1772. Cook's crew described the creature as resembling a jackal or a small fox, although these observations were not conclusive. In the mid-19th century, Walter Mantell, a New Zealand scientist and politician, collected accounts from the Maori people who described an otter-like animal they claimed to have seen in the South Island. Similarly, Julius von Haast, a German geologist, reported sightings of an animal fitting the Waterik's description, adding further credibility to the legend. The Maori people have even suggested that they once kept a Wateriki as pets, although this claim remains unverified. Despite the numerous sightings and stories, no physical evidence of the Waiteriki has been found. Researchers have proposed various theories to explain the sightings, suggesting that the Waiteriki might be a case of mistaken identity. Possible candidates include stoats that are short-tailed weasels, Polynesian rats, and brush-tailed possums, all of which could be mistaken for the Waiteriki under certain conditions. The Cornish sea serpent. The Cornish sea serpent, known as Morgawar, is a legendary creature that reportedly inhabits the waters near Falmouth Bay in Cornwall, England. The name Morgawar translates from Cornish as sea giant, reflecting its formidable size and mysterious nature. According to local folklore, sightings of Morgawar date back to ancient times, but the legend gained significant attention in the mid-20th century. The most prominent modern sightings began in 1975, when several witnesses reported seeing a large serpentine creature near Pendennis Point. Descriptions of Morgawar typically include a long neck, a body covered in dark leathery skin, and a head resembling that of a sea lion or crocodile. Some accounts suggest that the creature can reach the lengths of up to 60 feet, with 4 webbed feet and a powerful tail. These reports often come from fishermen and locals familiar with the sea, adding a layer of credibility to the sightings. One of the most famous sightings occurred in 1976, when a fisherman named John Cock and his friend George Vinicom reported seeing a creature with a long neck and humps rising from the water. They described it as being as large as their 32-foot boat, and unlike anything they have ever seen before. Their account was later corroborated by other witnesses who reported similar sightings in the same area. This flurry of activity attracted attention from both local and international media, leading to further investigations and a wave of curiosity about the creature. The legend of Morgawar was further popularized by Cornish author Tony Doc Shells, who claimed to have photographed the creature and sent images to the Falmouth Packet newspaper. These photographs, attributed to an anonymous individual called Mary F., showed what appeared to be a large serpent-like creature lying low in the water. Despite skepticism and suggestions the photographs might be a hoax, the legend continues to grow. Additional sightings in the late 1970s and 1980s include reports from locals and visitors who described seeing a creature with a long neck and multiple humps swimming near the surface. One notable encounter involved Rex Hosking, who in 1979 claimed to have seen a creature with 2 humps in Halford River, adding to the numerous accounts of Morgawar in the region. The Honey Island Swamp Monster. The Honey Island Swamp Monster, also known as the Cajun Sasquatch or La Bête Noire, is a cryptid from Louisiana folklore that is said to inhabit the Honey Island Swamp in St. Tammany Parish. Descriptions of the creature depict it as a large bipedal, ape-like humanoid standing around 7 feet tall, weighing approximately 500 pounds, and covered in grayish hair or scales. Witnesses often report seeing its glowing yellow or red eyes that describe a foul odor that accompanies its presence, reminiscent of rotten eggs or swamp gas. The legend of the Honey Island Swamp Monster has roots in the folklore of local Native American tribes, including the Choctaw and Homa, who referred to it as Latish, a human-like creature said to be raised by alligators after being abandoned in the swamp. The modern legend began to gain traction in the early 1960s, when Harlan Ford, a retired air traffic controller and wildlife photographer, reported his encounter with the creature. Ford described the creature as being over 7 feet tall with dingy grayish hair and yellow eyes. His accounts, along with the plaster casts of large 3-toed footprints he found, sparked significant interest and further reports of sightings. In 1974, Ford and his friend Billy Mills discovered unusual footprints on the body of a wild boar with its throat gashed, suggesting an encounter with the beast. Ford's dedication to uncovering the truth about the creature led him to take a Super 8 film footage of what he believed to be the Honey Island swamp monster. This footage was discovered after his death in 1980 and has since been analyzed by cryptozoologists who have neither confirmed nor debunked its authenticity. The Honey Island swamp, covering about 70,000 acres, provides an ideal habitat for such a creature with its dense vegetation and rich biodiversity. The swamp is home to various animals including alligators, snakes, and deer, contributing to the area's mysterious and eerie atmosphere. The creature's elusive nature and the swamp's challenging terrain have made it difficult to capture definitive proof of its existence, leading to a mix of skepticism and fascination. Dana Holyfield, Ford's granddaughter, has continued her grandfather's research, producing documentaries and writing books about the Honey Island swamp monster. She has shared stories and evidence collected over the years, maintaining the legend's presence in local culture and attracting both tourists and researchers to the area. The Lake Chalan Monster. The Lake Chalan Monster, often referred to as the Lake Chalan Dragon or Silly, is a legendary creature said to inhabit the deep waters of Lake Chalan in Washington state. The lore surrounding this cryptid spans centuries, with roots in both Native American legends and early settler stories. Native American tribes in the region, particularly the Chalan and Inuit people, have long spoken of a fearsome water serpent residing in the lake's depths. They called this creature Naha-ha-ha-ku and believed it had the power to cause great disturbances, including devastating floods and the disappearance of fish, which were vital to their sustenance. According to their tales, the serpent was an evil spirit that wreaked havoc on their communities until a powerful spirit trapped it by constructing a rock barrier. However, the monster did not die but remained trapped in the lake, continuing to be a source of fear and mystery for local people. The modern legend of the Lake Chalan monster began to take shape in the 19th century with the arrival of European settlers. One prominent story involves an 1812 account of a Scotsman named Captain Chalan, who brought a treasure chest from Scotland to the lake during a violent storm. The chest was washed overboard, and when the captain and the crew went after it, they discovered it contained a dragon egg. This egg supposedly hatched in the lake, giving rise to the legendary Lake Chalan monster. Over the years, various reports have described the creature as having the body of an alligator, the head of a snake, and even wings, making it a truly terrifying figure. One particularly vivid account from 1892, an unidentified young man who was bathing in the lake when the creature attacked him, clamping onto his legs with sharp jaws. Despite attempts by his friend to rescue him by attacking the monster, the creature eventually flew into the air with the man still in its grip before diving back into the lake. Such stories have contributed significantly to the monster's fearsome reputation. In more recent times, divers in 1945 reported seeing a large, shadowy figure at about 200 feet below the lake's surface while searching for a school bus that had plunged into the lake, resulting in numerous fatalities. These divers were so disturbed by the sighting that some refused to return to the depths, adding another layer of intrigue to the monster's legend. Charlie. Charlie, the creature of Piatti Lake in McCall, Idaho, is a cryptid with a rich history rooted in both Native American folklore and modern sightings. Native Americans in the region, particularly in the Shoshone and Bangkok tribes, have long told stories of an evil spirit or giant serpent inhabiting the lake. These tales described a fearsome creature lurking in the lake's depths, causing the waters to be both mysterious and dangerous. The modern legend of the Charlie began to take shape in the early 20th century. One of the first documented sightings occurred in 1920, when a railroad logging crew spotted what they initially thought was a large log floating in the water. To their amazement, the log began to move and undulate, creating a significant wave as it quickly disappeared. The sighting was followed by numerous reports over the years, solidifying the legend of Charlie. In 1944, the McCall Chamber of Commerce held a contest to name the creature, and the winning entry was Charlie, a suggestion by Lyle Hennifer of Virginia, referencing a popular radio show line. Around the same time, a dramatic sighting was reported near the Narrows, where witnesses described a 35-foot-long creature with a dinosaur-like head, pronounced jaw, camel-like humps, and shell-like skin. The sighting gnawed national attention and was reported in prominent publications like Time magazine, which noted that 30 people had seen the creature's periscope-shaped head since July of that year. The legend continued to grow with further sightings in 1946, where a group of 20 people reported seeing a large creature diving repeatedly into the lake, leaving a wave like that of a small motorboat. Dr. G. A. Taylor, one of the witnesses, estimated the creature to be around 40 feet long. In 1954, the creature received its official name Charlie after a national contest held by the Star News. The name quickly caught on, and the Charlie became an integral part of McCall's identity, celebrated in local culture and tourism. Over the years, Charlie has been the subject of various expeditions and studies. In 2002, a team from Idaho State University used underwater cameras and sonar equipment to search for evidence of Charlie but found nothing conclusive. Despite these efforts, Charlie remains a beloved legend in McCall, with sightings continue to be reported sporadically. The creature is often depicted as a long, serpentine being with a horse or camel-like head, dark scaly body, and large glowing eyes. Artistic interpretations vary, but all aim to capture the mysterious and awe-inspiring nature of Charlie. The local community embraces the legend with events such as Charlie's Angels Boat Parade, where boats are decorated with Charlie-themed decorations and costumes. The annual McCall Winter Carnival also celebrates the creature with sculptures and other festivities, reinforcing Charlie's status as an unofficial symbol of the town. Gustav, a notorious Nile crocodile, has become a legend in the waters of Burundi, particularly along the Ruizi River and the northern shores of Lake Tanganyika. Known for his immense size and fearsome reputation, Gustav is rumored to have killed as many as 1,200 to 300 people, earning him a near mythical status among the local population. Gustav's story began to gain prominence in 1987 when villagers along the northeastern shores of Lake Tanganyika reported attacks by a large, aggressive crocodile. These incidents continued sporadically through the late 1980s and early 1990s, coinciding with a period of significant conflict and instability in the region, including the Rwandan genocide. It is believed that bodies disposed of in the rivers during these conflicts may have contributed to the crocodile's notorious reputation, possibly its unusual behavior of preying on humans. Patrice Fay, a French herpetologist, began studying this in the late 1990s. Fay's observations and attempts to capture Gustav were documented in the 2004 film Capturing the Killer Croc, which aired on PBS. This documentary highlighted the difficulties in capturing such a formidable predator, detailing an elaborate effort involving a 30-foot-long steel trap baited with various lures. All of which Gustav managed to avoid. Despite these efforts, Gustav remains elusive. Gustav is estimated to be over 60 years old and weighs around 2,000 pounds, with some reports suggesting he is more than 20 feet long. His body bears numerous scars from past encounters with hunters and even armed soldiers, indicating a history of violent conflicts with humans. These scars include 3 bullet wounds and a deeply wounded shoulder blade. Scientists speculate that his large size and weight may hinder his ability to catch typical prey, leading him to target larger animals, including humans. Despite his fearsome reputation, Gustav is not always seen consuming his human victims. Local lore often describes him dragging people into the water, believing their bodies uneaten, adding to his terrifying mystique. This behavior has been a source of fascination and fear, contributing to the numerous tales and reports of his attacks. Gustav's legend extends beyond local folklore into popular culture. He inspired the 2000 film Primeval, which dramatizes the story of a news team sent to capture a giant mating crocodile. His enduring legacy as one of the world's most infamous crocodiles continues to intrigue and terrify those who hear his story. Tier 4. Taniwa. The Taniwa is a legendary creature deeply embedded in Maori mythology. known for its powerful presence and diverse manifestations. These beings are considered supernatural water creatures, often described as resembling serpents, dragons, or large reptiles. Taniwa are said to inhabit rivers, lakes, caves, and the ocean, and their behavior can range from protective to malevolent, depending on the specific legend and tribe recounting the tale. In Maori tradition, Taniwa were believed to arrive with the first Polynesian settlers, who brought their legends from Hawaii, their ancestral homeland. The Taniwa were considered both guardians and threats. Some were protectors of tribes, safeguarding their people and homes, while others were dangerous entities that could cause natural disasters or harm humans. Each Taniwa has its own story, which often ties into the natural landscapes and serves as a cultural marker for the Maori people. One well-known story is that of Paika, who was saved by a Taniwa in the form of a whale. This legend was popularized by the movie Whale Rider, which depicts the Taniwa as a benevolent creature. Conversely, there are tales of malevolent Taniwa, Nigarata Huaru, a giant reptile that preyed on people until it was eventually driven away and drowned by warriors. Taniwa are often linked to natural phenomena and environmental features. For example, the Taniwa Karutahi, whose lair was in a Waikato swamp, influenced the planning of State Highway 1 to avoid disrupting its home. This integration of Taniwa lore into modern-day decisions highlights the ongoing cultural significance of these creatures. The tales of Taniwa also serve practical purposes, such as encoding information about natural hazards. The placement of marae, community centers, and the paths of rivers often reflect the perceived dwelling and movements of Taniwa, ensuring the construction avoids areas prone to natural disasters like floods and landslides. In contemporary New Zealand, Taniwa continue to be respected and feared. The Aspedon. The Aspedon is a sea creature from ancient Greek mythology and medieval bestiaries, often depicted as a gigantic turtle or whale. The name Aspedon is derived from the Greek words aspis, meaning shield, and klon, meaning turtle. This name reflects its dual nature, being depicted both as a large sea turtle and whale-like monster. Its back was said to be covered in sand and vegetation, resembling a small island, which led sailors to mistake it for a safe haven to anchor their ships. The earliest accounts of the Aspedon appear in the Physiologus, a didactic Christian text from the 2nd century AD. This text describes the creature as a massive whale that deceives sailors by raising its back above the water to appear as an island. When sailors disembark and light fires on the island, the Aspedon submerges, drowning them. This tale was widely circulated in medieval bestiaries and literature, often used as an allegory for the deceptive nature of the devil. The creature also appears in various cultures under different names. In Irish folklore, it is known as Jascanius, a giant fish that Saint Brendan and his monks encountered, mistaking it for an island. In Greenlandic myths, it is called a Umasursa, a monster that tips sailors into freezing waters. In the Middle East, it appears in the tales of 1001 Nights as a Zaratan, and in Chilean folklore, it is known as Queru or Hide, a flat, hide-like monster that lures sailors to their deaths. The Aspedon has also found its way into modern fiction and popular culture. J.R.R. Tolkien referenced to the creature in his poem Chalan in The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, where he tells of an island that is actually a giant sea creature. The legend of the Aspedon continues to be a symbol of the of the dangers lurking in the open sea, embodying the fear of the unknown and the perilous nature of maritime exploration. The Inaba. The Inaba is a legendary serpent from Zulu and Xhosa mythology, primarily associated with the region around Howick Falls in KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. This fearsome creature is typically described as a gigantic serpent with an equine head, believed to possess supernatural abilities, including control over storms and floods. The origins of the Inaba legend can be traced back to ancient cave paintings and traditional folklore. These early depictions and stories describe the Inaba as a powerful water spirit that dwells in the deep pools at the base of waterfalls, particularly Howick Falls. The Zulu people believe that the creature becomes more active during the summer months, which are characterized by severe storms and heavy rains. It is said that the agitation of the Inaba can trigger these violent weather events, which are both feared and respected by the local communities. In Zulu mythology, the Inaba is also known by several evocative names, such as Inku Sanyama Yamanzi, Lord of the Waters, and Inkanyamba Yamangozi, Lord of Storms. These titles underscore its dominion over aquatic environments and its fearsome reputation as a harbinger of natural disasters. The creature is considered to be a solitary entity, often depicted as a guardian of waterfalls and water sources, maintaining the natural balance and excavating punishment on those who anger it. Modern sightings of the Inaba continue to captivate locals and visitors. Notable encounters include reports by game ranger and Bushelzi in 1962 and caretaker Johannes Holongwayne in the 1970s and 1980s. These sightings, along with the legend's deep roots in local culture, have made Howick Falls a site of fascination and reverence. The falls are believed to be the dwelling place of the Inaba, drawing tourists and believers alike who hope to catch a glimpse of the mythical creature or to pay homage to its powerful presence. The Beast of Busco. The Beast of Busco, a legendary giant snapping turtle, has fascinated residents of Churubusco, Indiana, and cryptid enthusiasts since its reporting sightings in the mid-20th century. The creature, affectionately nicknamed Oscar, was allegedly seen in 1898 by a farmer named Oscar Fulk. Fulk claimed to have spotted an enormous turtle in the 7-acre lake on his farm, but the story faded from local memory until it resurfaced in 1948. In July 1948, two fishermen, Ora Blue and Charlie Wilson, reported seeing a massive turtle while fishing on what had come to be known as Fulk Lake, then owned by Gail Harris. They described the turtle as being as large as a dining room table, with a shell approximately 6 feet across. Their sighting reignited interest in the creature, and soon the tale of the Beast of Busco gained national attention. Harris, determined to capture the beast, made several attempts over the following months. These efforts included building a large wooden and chicken wire trap, a 300-foot net, and even attempting to drain the lake. Despite these efforts, Oscar remained elusive. One of the most dramatic moments during the search occurred when Harris and his team tried using a diver to locate the turtle underwater. This attempt failed due to equipment malfunctions and the dangerous conditions at the lake's bottom. The search for the Beast of Busco drew significant media attention. Reporters and curious onlookers flocked to Churubusco, turning the quiet town into a hub of activity. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the legend grew, fueled by numerous eyewitness accounts and the dramatic efforts to capture the turtle. Gail Harris's last significant attempt to drain the lake nearly succeeded, but his pump broke before he could fully attempt it. During this attempt, witnesses claimed to have seen the turtle surfacing one last time, allegedly eating a full-grown duck in a single bite before disappearing. The legend of the Beast of Busco has since become an integral part of Churubusco's cultural heritage. The town celebrates its unique history with the annual Turtle Days Festival, which features parades, turtle races, and other festivities. This celebration not only honors the legend of Oscar, but also brings together the community and attracts visitors from afar. Tier 5. Orin Ion. The Orin Ion, often referred to as the Fishman, is a cryptid from Malaysian and Indonesian folklore. The term Orin Ion combines the Malay words orang, human, and Ion, fish, reflecting the creature's part human, part fish nature. Legends describe the Orin Ion as a humanoid figure with fish-like features. including scales, webbed hands and feet, and gills. This creature is said to inhabit the waters of Malay Archipelago, particularly around the islands of Malaysia and Indonesia. Historical accounts of the Orin Ion date back to World War II. One of the most famous stories involves Japanese soldiers stationed in the Kai Islands during the war. According to these reports, the soldiers encountered strange fish-like humanoids in the water. These creatures were described as being around 5 feet tall with long limbs, webbed fingers, and large fish-like mouths. The sightings were so frequent and convincing that Japanese military personnel began documenting their encounters and even allegedly captured one of their creatures, although no physical evidence has been ever presented. In one account, a Japanese sergeant named Taro Horiba detailed how these creatures would sometimes be caught in fishing nets, much to the horror and fascination of the soldiers. The sergeant reportedly instructed his men to keep the encounters secret to avoid panic and to further study the creatures. However, after the war, these accounts were largely dismissed as wartime myths or hallucinations induced by stress of the combat. The legend of the Orin Ion has persisted into modern times, with occasional reports and sightings still emerging from local fishermen and divers. These modern encounters often describe the Orin Ion as elusive and wary of humans, quickly disappearing when approached. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the legend remains a compelling part of regional folklore. Kalu Palik. The Kalu Palik is a creature from Inuit mythology, often described as a monstrous sea-dwelling being that preys on children. The origins of Kalu Palik are deeply rooted in the oral traditions of the Inuit people, who inhabit the Arctic regions of northern Canada, Alaska, and Greenland. These stories were traditionally passed down through generations as cautionary tales to instill respect for the harsh Arctic environments, and to keep children away from the dangerous areas like thin ice and coastal waters. The Kalu Palik is typically depicted as a humanoid with green, slimy skin, long hair, and elongated fingernails or talons. Some descriptions also include scaly or bumpy skin and fins protruding from its head and back. The creature is known for wearing an amauti, a traditional Inuit parka designed for carrying children, which it uses to snatch its victims. The Kalu Palik lures children to the water by humming a haunting and alluring melody, or by knocking on the ice, enticing them to come closer. Once the children are near enough, the Kalu Palik grabs them and drags them into the icy depths. One of the earliest recorded mentions of the Kalu Palik come from the work of Franz Boas, a German anthropologist who documented Inuit folklore in the late 19th century. In these tales, the Kalu Palik is portrayed as a terrifying figure that kidnaps disobedient children. The creature's motivations for capturing children vary in different accounts. Some stories suggest that the Kalu Palik eats the children to gain immortality, while others propose that it keeps them in a supernatural sleep, feeding off their innocence to maintain its youth. The Kalu Palik serves a practical purpose in Inuit culture by teaching children the dangers of wandering too close to the water's edge, or venturing onto thin ice. This utilitarian aspect of legend underscores the importance of these stories in imparting survival knowledge and cultural values. Vodi Anoi. The Vodi Anoi is a water spirit from Slovakian mythology, particularly prevalent in the Russian and Czech folklore. This enigmatic creature is often depicted as an old, bearded man with a frog-like face, greenish beard, and long hair covered in algae and muck. Sometimes he is described as having a fish-like body with scales and webbed hands, capable of transforming into a log or a moss-covered fish. The Vodinoi typically inhabits rivers, lakes, and ponds, where he exerts control over aquatic life and is both feared and revered by local communities. The Vodinoi is notorious for being both a protector and a destroyer. Millers and fishermen historically made offerings to the Vodinoi to appease him and secure his favor. Sacrifices could range from livestock like pigs and sheep to smaller offerings such as butter or oil poured into the water. These rituals were believed to prevent Vodinoi from causing floods, destroying watermills, or drowning people. If appeased, he could ensure bountiful catches for fishermen by directing fish into their nets. One of the Vodinoi's unique characteristics is his ability to shapeshift. This skill allows him to deceive humans, making him an unpredictable and dangerous entity. He is known to drag people into his watery domain, often holding them captive. In some legends, the Vodyanoi marries drowned women or water nymphs, turning them into his companions in the underwater world. In Czech and Slovak folklore, similar entities are known as vodnik. These beings share many traits with the Vodyanoi, but are often portrayed with a more human-like appearance, sometimes seen as old men wearing green clothes, perpetually wet and dripping. The vodnik is believed to keep the souls of drowned people in porcelain cups, which he meticulously maintains. The Vodyanoi's cultural significance extends to various customs and beliefs. For example, people crossing rivers would make the sign of the cross to protect themselves from the Vodyanoi. It was also common to hear stories of watermills being sabotaged by the spirit when not properly appeased. His role as a guardian of aquatic environments made him an essential figure in the local belief systems, influencing how people interacted with their natural surroundings. Yaku Mama. Yaku Mama, often referred to as the Mother of Water, is a legendary cryptid from the Amazon rainforest, deeply rooted in the cultural heritage of the indigenous peoples. Described as a massive serpent, this creature is believed to inhabit the river basins and dense forests of the Amazon. According to various legends, the Yaku Mama can grow up to 60 meters in length, with a thick, muscular body that blends seamlessly into its surroundings due to its dark green or brown coloration. The creature's head is said to be the size of a small boat, with glowing red eyes and razor-sharp teeth, enhancing its fearsome reputation. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Yaku Mama is its reported ability to create powerful whirlpools to draw in its prey. Local legends state that the Yaku Mama can suck up any living thing that comes within 100 paces of it. Indigenous people often blow on a conch horn before entering the water, believing that the sound will reveal the serpent's presence. This practice underscores the deep-seated fear and respect for this creature among the Amazonian communities. Historical sightings and encounters add a layer of intrigue to the Yaku Mama's legend. In the early 1900s, two men attempted to kill the Yaku Mama using explosives. Despite being wounded and covered in blood, the serpent emerged from the water, demonstrating its resilience and terrifying the men. Another notable account from 2009 involves an Irish lithographer who claimed to have used satellite imagery to find evidence of the Yaku Mama, adding a modern twist to this ancient legend. The Yaku Mama is often compared to other large snakes in the Amazon, such as the green anaconda, which can grow up to 30 feet in length. However, the Yaku Mama's reported size and abilities far surpass those of any known snake species, leading some researchers to speculate that the legend may be rooted in sightings of an ancient, now extinct species like the Titanoboa. This prehistoric snake, which lived around 16 million years ago, could reach lengths of over 40 feet and was an apex predator in its time. Stories of the Yaku Mama are rich with symbolic meaning, reflecting the deep connection between the Amazonian people and their environment. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to subscribe, comment, and like. And let me know if there's any certain topics you guys would like me to cover. And lastly, make sure to check out my past videos.